Okay, let's get into game 2. So I hotkey these scouts real quick. There we go. Okay. AkeNo versus Murzaca game 2. You have AkeNo down here in the blue playing as the Byzantines, and AkeNo in the green playing as the Spanish. They swapped the civs they had from game 1. And now we're going to have same matchup, but AkeNo with the Spanish. And we'll see what he tries to do with the Spanish, finding his sheep there, chopping some wood as the sheep come in, and speeding things up to the Dark Age. Looks like he'll have to delete this wall. That gate, pretty useless. And let's see, what does he have resource-wise? He has his sheep. Is he going to find those sheep? Please bring the scout over. No, he's just going to miss those sheep. Oh well. But he has a pretty nice map, having 2 of the extra resources. That's really good for him. Extra stone and extra gold in the back for AkeNo. One of his secondary golds is in the back. His other secondary gold just outside of his walls, kind of to the side. Not too bad of a position. He has main gold and main stone are forward though, and secondary stone is a bit forward. He does have an extra berry patch. We'll see if he goes for this one or if he goes for this one and it just tries to take the deer at this berry patch. Looks like this boar, both his boars are inside of his walls. And looking at the relic positions, 4 relics all in this corner of the map. Other relic, let's look for that relic, is here inside of Murzaca's wall. So let's go take a look at Murzaca's base. He has boar inside of his walls. Looks like he's taking his other boar. Berries in the back. Main gold and main stone in the back. That's really nice. Both the secondary golds are in the back. That's also really nice for him. And otherwise, he just has a stone on the front. And pile of 3 extra golds on the side of the map, maybe a bit closer to AkeNo. So, good map from Murzaca, and I think a really good map from AkeNo. And we'll see what these players do. Murzaca, as the Byzantines, taking some deer. Good for him, loading in those deer. It looks like the deer are nice and close to his TC. That'll be great for him. Hasn't yet gone to berries, but that's okay, because he's taking the deer. Now, taking some sheep. Second boar is going to be a bit late, but he just has the sheep there underneath his TC. And looks like he might have had that villager hotkeyed and accidentally send it back to his town center. Shooting the boar twice and running back. And looks like he'll have that in pretty nicely. That deer might run back though. Almost loses the villager, but gets it inside the town center just in time. So taking a look at AkeNo, he's brought in his second boar, luring in some deer. He went for the back mill and he's just going to lure his deer. That's good. These villagers, probably not the best location for a lumber camp. You'd probably want to build it either here or over here. And we'll see if he goes to build a secondary lumber camp in one of those locations. But yeah, probably wants to have that villager chop this tree and then put villagers on this side to chop those 2 trees. That way you make a nice little pocket behind the lumber camp where your villagers can get to the wood. But let's see, just trying to lure in those deer. Can be a bit pesky, and we'll see if he decides to I don't know what he's saying shit about. And we'll see if he decides to take stone and go for a castle, or just take gold and go for some monks. He is going to go for stone, so we'll see if he does indeed go for the castle. And he's Murzaca was saying shit about nothing. Okay, and finishing up his sheep, building some farms. Murzaca going up on 26 population, so he'll be up to castle first. AkeNo going up on 28 population, pretty standard for going for a castle. And he has 3 on stone, 2 on gold, so it looks like he probably will be going for a castle. He has not built a second lumber camp though, and don't quite know if he's going to have the resources he needs to click up to castle immediately. And only has 4 villagers on wood and 1 on the straggler tree, but he's going to run out of stragglers soon. He probably should be sending some more villagers over to gather wood. Yeah, because he's going to need 325 resources to build, 325 wood to build the market and the blacksmith. He's almost there, but he'll be okay. Just needs to drop off some wood from these villagers and he'll be able to put up the blacksmith. There you go. Okay. So taking good use of those straggler trees. And now moving more villagers to gold and to stone. Looks like he will be getting up a castle and probably looking to get us some conquistadors. Murzaca also up, going with the blacksmith in the market. 5 farms, lots of villagers on gold, so it looks like he might be going for monks. That's some unfortunate placement by the lumber camp. Not really going to get to any trees. Yeah, when you see trees at the back, you need to make sure that they're actually thick enough to make a good lumber camp. Would have been better to have deleted this wall and put the lumber camp over here. It's a bit longer walk for the villagers to get there, but you have a lot more wood there. And then maybe think to delete it and make a town center here between the wood and the stone later. And let's see. Going forward with some villagers. Let's see, AkeNo doesn't have his scout in the position he needs to scout that. He's a bit slow on scouting the middle of the map. But now Siege Workshop coming up from Murzaca. Scout going to be attacking the walls. And AkeNo still hasn't seen this. Those villagers don't have loom. If he brings the scout forward, he could kill all 3 of those villagers. Some good scout micro. But this scout here from Murzaca, let's see what his scouting looks like. Yeah, he sees those 2 forward resources from AkeNo, and he's probably going to want to try and deny them. AkeNo, meanwhile, building his castle defensively, pretty far back inside of his base. This will help defend against the push, because he can wall to it from here, and wall towards his TC over here. But, yeah. Gonna try and keep these resources safe. Not really gonna be able to hit anything out here, which is where the push is gonna come from. And see Murzaca making some monks, making redemption. Might be a bit early for redemption, but he's going to try to collect all 4 of these relics over here, and since he has this one inside of his wall, he could get all 5 of the relics. We'll see how well he can micro these monks against the conquistadors. It's not good losing it to the scout there. Losing his scout, but now that the scout's down, the monks really are going to be pretty effective against the conquistadors. And Monastery coming up from AkeNo. We'll probably see Atonement come in from him, try to defend against these monks with some monks of his own. And that conk's going to get converted. But AkeNo's going to try to come in here on the side and sneakily pick up those relics. He has out enough conks that he can fight the monks at this point. So AkeNo's going to be coming to try and pick up the relics. He has out the conks. Murzaca needs to cancel that monk and put it in this monastery so it gets queued up more quickly. Maybe needs to garrison the monks inside of his monasteries until he has enough to start converting conquistadors again. And there you go, gets the conversion. And by him, it looks like monk's not going to get a conversion there. That monk with the relic gonna go down, and then should delete that conk until it gets got converted again. What, can he get it back? No, he just deleted it, so he didn't give it back. Good play by AkeNo there. And I like this. I like seeing aggression from our Byzantines player with the 2 monasteries. But let's see. The problem is he only has 1 TC, just now putting up a 2nd TC. Doesn't have much of an eco behind this. We see AkeNo starting to pull ahead in villagers, but AkeNo did get his 2nd TC up a bit sooner, and he does have a lot of farms behind this. So he's going to be going heavy into the food. Spanish do get both of the monk upgrades, so if AkeNo does redemption, he will be able to relieve a lot of the pressure from these mangonels by just converting them. But monks and mangonels going to be pretty effective against the conquistadors. Now AkeNo going up with his own siege workshop, going to use it partly as a wall. It's going to make his gold villagers a bit less effective. AkeNo should do loom since he's getting pressured there, just lost a few villagers to that mangonel. And Atonement coming in from Murzaca, that's going to be a really good upgrade to help him convert some monks. And gets the conversion but kills his own conquistador. Those stone villagers could be hit by a monk. See what Murzaca can see. Yeah, he still sees these 2 resources. Problem is AkeNo just has lots of resources in the back of his base. Let's scout. Let's check his scouting. Yeah, and he has scouted them, scouted everything except his sheep. And let's check what resources AkeNo has. He has done Atonement and Redemption. Should probably do Sanctity to protect his monks from the mangonels a bit better. Mangonels do 40 damage. Monks have 30 HP before Sanctity and 45 HP afterwards. So definitely helps with tanking the mangonel shots. But now AkeNo going up with a 2nd castle, making sure to get really defensive. And that will pretty much halt all aggression unless it comes in from over here, but that's a really long walk. AkeNo could maybe wall here, even just with like a building or something to help secure that side of the map. But now AkeNo's pretty safe. He has 2 castles in the castle age. Murzaca's not going to be able to push in. AkeNo was safe enough so that he could get up the second castle, and nothing that Murzaca really can do to push into that in the castle age unless he gets out a ton of rams, but that's a big investment, and AkeNo has pretty much a free boom behind this now. Gonna move over to that gold on 2 town centers. He's opened up a pretty big villager lead. Murzaca on 3 town centers. Looks like he's putting up a 4th and a 5th town center. That's a lot of town centers. I don't really like the positioning of this town center. It's not really by any resource. He will be able to surround it with farms, but then again, these 2 will kind of be blocking each other on farms. I think 4 TCs would have been fine. I don't think he needs to go up to a 5th here. He's only it's only like a 10 villager difference. It's not like he's gonna be behind that long with 4 TCs anyway, since AkeNo's only on 2. But AkeNo's going to be moving out to the rest of these resources. And Murzaca will be first up to the next stage. And to push into these castles, he could go for capped and then siege rams. Murzaca could research chemistry and go for bombard cannons, or he could get a castle of his own and make some trebuchets. We'll see what he decides to do. Now taking the resources in the back of his base, could delete this wall to get the villagers, to give them a bit more room to mine that gold. You see how the villagers kind of are walking back and forth. The wall's going to block that, and if he deletes that, they'll be able to walk around a bit more easily. Now Castle going to take down these houses. Mangonel coming out too. Why not make him house? Just take out the houses, give your troops something to do. Mangonel now going to try to push in over here, but still not much to pressure over there. Murzaca really needs to get pressure on this gold. But again, it's not going to be too effective because... well, look at that wolf. 1 HP. Looks like he did kill a villager though. Good for that wolf. Now, let's see. Going with some barracks, and we'll see what he tries to make out of those barracks. He's a Byzantine, so they do get cheaper halberdier, or maybe that barracks is just to make other units, or make other buildings. Looks like it's his first barracks. Now, AkeNo also up to imp, so both of our players now in the Imperial Age. Murzaca now taking the Vill lead with his 5 town centers, but doesn't really have much of a military. AkeNo definitely has the advantage in military numbers. So, both these castles filled with conquistadors. Now, our Byzantine player, see, is going for an archery range. Needs to get up quite a few archery ranges and get out enough skirmishers to deal with the conquistador. Skirmisher is also going to be effective against the monks, but he'll need something to deal with the mangonels. And 2 archery ranges. We'll see if he does any researches inside of them. Now, just now doing some blacksmith upgrades, double blacksmith to get the upgrades more quickly. Now putting up another barracks. Looks like he's doing pikemen. He's going to be going for that Byzantine trash. Byzantines do get cheaper counter units, so skirmishers and halberdiers will be cheaper than other civilizations. AkeNo moving out to take the extra gold on this side of the map. That'll be nice for him. Still taking the resources in the back of his base. Murzaca has a lot of gold, though, that he's not spending, and he's going to be making a lot of trash units, which means he's not making anything that costs gold, so he's not going to be spending any of that gold he has. And deleting that so it doesn't get converted, good by him. Bringing the monks forward, maybe trying to get another convert on that Mangonel. But nothing coming out of the siege workshop, just a bunch of skirms, and we'll see what AkeNo does to counter the skirms. He might just be able to brute force it with all of these conquistadors. That's a lot of conquistadors. Let's check that. That's 34 military from AkeNo. That's quite a few conquistadors. Moving out. Mangonel gonna kill some monks. Let's see if Murzaca can micro these monks and get a few conversions. He could maybe get ahead in this fight, but the monks are going to go down. There's just too many conquistadors. Does get 1 conversion, but 1's not going to be enough. He doesn't have enough skirmishers to deal with this. And he's queuing skirmishers, but only from 5 ranges, and that's about 30 conquistadors. Only has, look at that, like maybe 10 skirms, not even. Is building more ranges, though. I like to see that. Definitely adding more ranges. Going to get us some more skirmishers. That Mangonel, going to be a pretty hard counter to the skirmishers. See if we can get a big mangonel shot here in on these skirmishers. Here it comes, and there you go, several of them going down. Another mangonel shot, taking out more skirmishers. That mangonel's gonna do a lot of work on those skirmishers. Trebuchet coming in, 150 pierce armor. That's not quite as much as the ram, but quite a bit. And Skirmisher is not going to be able to do much damage to the Treb. It's just going to be able to tank some fire until the Conquistadors come in. Yeah. So Skirmishers look like they were a good move to deal with the Conquistadors, but just Murzaca doesn't have the mass of them he needs to be able to deal with the 30 or so Conquistadors that AkeNo has. Now AkeNo is just going to keep adding in more Siege Rams, more Conquistadors. Meanwhile, Murzaca has a lot of resources, he's just not able to spend them. So you're not queuing up any more villagers from these 5 TCs, just queuing up skirmishers from these ranges. Only has 1 siege workshop. Definitely could benefit from some siege. Going onagers here would be able to help him deal with this massive conquistadors and also take out siege rams when they come into the walls. But he does have, starting to get some more skirmishers up, has about 20 of them, but still not really going to be enough to push in. Trying to get up more archery ranges to spend his resources, but he's just not able to spend them quickly enough. Now the skirmisher is going to pop out of that destroyed range, going to pop out of this one too, and if they don't all come out together, they're not going to be very effective at stopping the conquistadors. Now he does have a trebuchet. Probably needs to eject these skirms now just to take the biggest fight that he can. But that mangonel, still that one mangonel doing a lot of damage against those skirms, gonna take out even more. Oh no! All those skirms going down. Now skirms over here. That ram gonna soak up a lot of damage from the skirmishers. The conquistadors are free to kill the skirms. Yeah, all those skirmishers focusing in on the ram. Murzaca needs to micro them, there we go, and manually right-click on the Conquistadors so that they fire. And there's a GG from Murzaca, just again, not quite able to get in to spend his resources in the late game. He did have a lot of nice pressure in the early game, but wasn't quite able to push in since Murzaca did have that castle as the Spanish, and once he got up a second castle, there really was nothing Murzaca could do to push in. I think he made the right decision recognizing that and knowing that he needed to go for another strategy at that point, knowing that he could no longer push into 2 castles. But Murzaca, all these resources in the back he was able to take. Really nice map generation from AkeNo getting the extra stone and the extra gold, and also having the map awareness to come out to this extra gold on the side. So GG. Nice push from Murzaca, but just wasn't enough to sustain him into the late game. Let's go take a look at the achievements. And military stats. We see, yeah, AkeNo was able to get up a nice mass of conquistadors as he was going up, and Murzaca never was able to spend the resources to get a large enough army to counter that. Did get 10 conversions though, so really good play from him with the monks. And technology. Yep, did get to the Imperial Age a bit faster, again using that Byzantine bonus of the cheaper Imperial Age, and did have more villages at the end. AkeNo though, even though Murzaca did come out with the monks and get that map control, he wasn't quite fast enough with the monks to pick up the relics, and AkeNo was able to sneak his monks kind of around the side to get 4 of the relics, and it looks like Murzaca never took the relic that was in his base. He could have, the relic was in the wall, you need to delete the wall in order to get to the relic. Okay, there's the timeline. We can see the larger military by AkeNo that Murzaca was never able to produce enough units to match that. Okay, great. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in Game 3.